All right, I should be live. Your sound should be working on your end, Alex. Hey, how's it going, everyone? How are you doing, Alex?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Tired. I don't know how people feel out there, but COVID fatigue's definitely hitting me. This week in particular, it was really bad. uh, so today's episode, we're going to be going into top 10 cards in chaos, which is really cool. It'll be wrapping up our series for top 10 cards, at least for the game so far. It's been a fun journey. I don't know what's a top 10 list would you like to do next after this?
We could do the worst 10 card.
Yeah, I've wanted to do that. Like, what are the worst 10 cards in Genesis? Uh, I think that would be a fun one to kind of explore. And then also hear everyone being like, no, that's not a bad card. Oh, why would that be on your list? Like, it'd be really funny. And I would also love to go back and forth with you because I know there's some cards I love that would be on your top 10 worst cards. So that would definitely be interesting. Before we jump into this, I just want to give a huge shout out to Patreon supporters. Thank you, everyone who supports us on Patreon, who helped us get through 2020 and starting off 2021. It's been a crazy 10 months, and we'll see how the next little while goes. So special shout out to Andrew, Gunther, Hill, Steven, Stevo, and Will. And I have it up on the screen for people who haven't seen this yet. February's Patreon promo is going to be Instill Vigor. I figured it's February. I have to do something related to like Valentine's love type of thing. But then I was like, what card shows us? Well, a man and his dog. So yeah, I was definitely decided to go with that for February's Patreon. For January's, I'm putting together the packages. They'll be getting delivered in the next few days. And then what else is happening for Future League? I don't have the updated infographic for this much Future League promo, which is going to be Malfeasance. So that's going to be rolling out. But the Stone Protectors, they'll be coming out with the Patreon packages. So that's going to be exciting. I'm definitely excited about that. And we still need to figure out what the next few months are going to be as well.
That's true.
All right, so let's jump into this. Last week, I think you started. Do you want to start again this week?
I can start. I already have it out.
All right, go for it.
All right. This time I think I did somewhat sort it to like going downwards to my tops.
Interesting.
So my number 10, which was the wild
Ooh.
card, is Whip Smash.
Yeah, yeah, that I did not see coming in your list at all.
Move it over
All
here.
right, just
Yeah.
my predictions. I'm guessing. Okay, there's two cards that I know that are kind of a give me. Um, I'm going. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do the predictions. I want to see them as they come. There's two cards I know
All
for
right.
sure are gonna be.
Yeah. There's two obvious
Yeah.
must be on there.
Yes.
Yeah, Whip Smash. I really like this card. It has a weird spot where it becomes even better at very late game,
Hmm.
but it's still playable at any time.
Yeah,
And not many people expect it.
that's fair. And it being action speed, but it gets that range, which is definitely still usable in a lot of situations. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just don't think of it very often.
I have had the one game where I lost because desperation forces you to exert. You can't choose not to to be desperate.
Hmm.
But only once. There's only been one game where I went,
Yeah.
no, I could have won this.
Uh,
Because I had to play I had to play multiple action cards, and I don't think it was possible. I needed to whip smash something first. I don't remember why, but yeah. But I think this is a great card. I think it's an overlooked card.
yes, for sure.
And in Chaos, there's actually I don't think that many good techniques. I think this one. I just said no. I was like, okay, yeah, I think this one's amazing. I don't know. I think it's very much overlooked.
Steven says he remembers that game.
Yeah,
And he also recommends doing top 10 summons or top 10 like competitive cards or cards for fun. So those could be
that's fair.
definitely some good categories. Yeah, Whoop Smash definitely a solid card. Uh,
Alrighty,
I
my
love the
number
artwork.
9.
All right, all
Yeah,
right.
hell yeah, is Vampkiss.
Yeah, that has to be on it.
So technique wise, this is the only other one comparable. I'm not. I'll spoilers. I'm not a big fan of the Demon's Rage.
Hmm.
It's just it's very high energy and life costing, and most Chaos champions do not have life to
Hmm.
pay for that, and don't have high energy costs. So it's like a double whammy on the Chaos side.
Yeah.
Vampire Kiss itself kind of is almost there because 6 is quite a bit, but this 6 is a 6 point swing. Your opponent loses 3 and you gain 3.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It really is. Yeah. I always tell people, so like I'm like if I was someone who didn't play Genesis, this is the artwork that would bring me into that game. I
I was
love
just
it.
gonna say, and the artwork is amazing.
It's just it's so good. It's so abstract, but at the same time like it gives you such that raw feeling of the purpose of this card.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so brutal. I love it.
All right, let's move on to my number 7, Malicious Persuasion.
Yeah.
There is a story about Malicious Persuasion and Future League before the set was before Jay was being made. I was at the very end of Future League. Like I literally, I think you brought us the Future League cards, and you're like, I'm going to the printers right after I talked to you about these cards.
Yep. Yeah. I think there was like a week or like I gave them to you one day and then I came by the next week and it was like,
Yeah,
yep, I'm going to be sending these to the printers in the next few days type of thing. Yeah.
but when you first were like Malicious Persuasion, it's a rare, and I'm like, what do you mean this is a rare? This is such a bad card, Sid. What are you on about? Because at that time I didn't comprehend that you could move out of movement sequence,
Mm-hmm.
and because I wasn't stating that, you couldn't tell me that.
Yeah.
I was like, who they're just gonna lose one life, or they're just gonna move. I don't get the purpose of this. I just couldn't comprehend it. Until until it finally, I think it was at like the championships, facing the other people, uh, facing the game designers. I think one of them played a Malicious Persuasion, and I went, oh,
Yeah. Once it
got
clicks.
it. And then it became almost mandatory in any of my summons decks.
Yeah.
The only recently did it fall out of favor with me in the last tournament deck with Idris, where I decided it was better to just let my summons die, don't worry about protecting them, just have them charge in every turn.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had a few in, and in the turns where I had a Malicious Persuasion, it was used to get a Brook, literally like on turn 1 to attack somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Did I lose you there?
Lost you for a second. I'm wondering if my internet's chopping out again.
Oh, you sound fine to me.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully it holds. But yeah, you're right. The deck you had was one of the few examples of a deck where I'm like, maybe I wouldn't run Mal, like, but it's such a solid card.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it became rare is so trivial now compared to like why it really should become rare. And it's because it has that word must. And it was like, oh, this is such a weird edge case in the game and we don't use the word must very often. So this card should be a rare. And like it's such a stupid reason for it to be a rare. But at the end of the day, this card does deserve to be a rare. It's so good.
Yeah, if you're a Chaos Summoner, you should be playing.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's one of very few cards that can protect a summon.
Yeah. It is your summons version of dodge. Like it's not as good as dodge, but it's pretty darn close.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's see, what was my next? I don't know. I think these could have been interchangeable. I think the reason why this one is above malicious is because it's fun and no one expects it. Same sort of thing. It's like you can use this to protect your summons. So I usually play it in my summon heavy deck. But the other side of this is you can grab your opponents very easily with this and just mess with their stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I love this card. I love this card in multiplayer. It's so good in multiplayer. Like when there's so many targets and people are not expecting things, and then you bring someone who's been so passive in the game, and you just grab them and throw them into the thick of things, and be like, now you got to start doing stuff. It's so good.
Yeah, it's purely fun. It's solid. Its costs aren't, I wouldn't say, is amazing. It's a bit expensive.
Yeah.
But I don't usually play a lot of them. I usually play somewhere between 2 to 4. It's usually enough.
Yeah.
And for some reason, whenever I do usually run 2 to 4, I get like a whole bunch of them in my hand, and my opponent's like, "How many of these do you have?" I'm like, "I just happen to get them."
Get them. Just that one game. Yeah. JC puts out the thing. It's like, get over here, and that was literally it. It was the Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. It's like, yeah, how do we? And we can actually do things like that in Genesis. And this is one of those cards that like shows some of the uniqueness about this game that you can't get in other games. Yeah. No, I love it.
I don't think I've ever really focused too hard on this art, but I just looking at the art right now, it is also really cool art.
Yeah, I remember I was definitely on the iffier side when this art was first revealed, but now as the game's kind of flowing together, it's like, yeah, it's not that bad. I just think Raha looks a little bit different in this piece than she does in her other pieces.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, I can see that. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, number 6. Inferno Ghoul.
Of course.
If you weren't here for the Bellum top 10, where we went off about the 3 chi summon, you can go back and read up on that. But this 3 chi summon is going to allow you to play all the other fun stuff in the 7 chi slot that may be coming up.
Yeah, it's true. You don't have any of the 7s on the table yet. Yeah.
Now, coincidentally, I'm pretty sure I know the next one. But I'm just going to flip it right now because this is going to join in with that. I think Chaos might have the best 3 slot. So let me continue on to the next one because I'm pretty sure it's there too. And then we can go through all 3 of these. That's 3 chi summon, 6 aura. It's not going to kill your aura. It's going to give you turn control of the board. It might get in a couple damage. It's amazing. It's just amazing. Easy. It's an easy fill. Underworld knowledge. It's more specific. In that some decks really can't run it. Like, despite I'm pretty sure having Idris on the art. I'm not sure. I think the other one does.
Yeah.
Doesn't really go well in Idris deck because Idris is fireballing every turn.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a chaos summoner deck, which if you've noticed a lot here going on, this is a easy fit because you're only going to be you're usually just going to be moving, dropping summons, and you're not going to be attacking on that first turn or anything like that. So you're going to be underworld knowledging to try to draw into more summons.
Yeah.
Where a normal summoner is going to drop all their summons. Maybe they top deck more summons, but it's usually that first wave. If it goes down, they've probably lost. With this, you sometimes can grow a second wave of summons.
Yeah, and that's what we saw in that. We've been referencing this that game with the Death Companions the other day. Such a great game. I wish that was on stream somewhere. But that was the thing. Like, you had such a strong army at the very beginning, but once you were able to take down the army, unfortunately, Darren wasn't able to survive that. But like, once that army was gone,
used Darren as a wall.
That wasn't the intention. I was hoping both of us could get out of that. But regardless, like from your perspective, once all those desk companions fell, it was really hard for you to build up again.
Yes,
And
yeah.
like that's the thing. I like underworld knowledge because it does kind of give you momentum to move forward in the game. Uh, yeah, I agree. I like it. I think you're right with the regards that Chaos has some really good universal three cheese. But let's get
Hmm.
into your last one there.
And then at the other 3-chi slot is Oten, which is an amazing 3-chi. It's such a simple card. It's a defensive card. It only works when you're being targeted, but it's just move left or right.
Yeah.
And I will go to the tournament matchup where I was facing Angels. Uh, Nubia's hiding in the corner here. I'm standing right here. I'm using Odin as an example. I know I'm going to die. This spot's currently open. An Angel comes in at me. I'm at 6 life or less at this point. I Odin to here, but this is just really a trick. And then he Angel swings at me, and I Revenge of the Phoenix. Yes, this saved me, but it also got me the position as well.
Yeah.
It has multiple uses.
Yes.
And because it's a 3-chi and defensive, you generally don't have to run like fill your middle slots with many defensive cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing that always hurts me about it is that it has that 6 energy cost. It's a
Oh yeah,
lot.
it's cost.
Yeah.
It is cost. But usually, like for example, dodging an angel 6 damage, I'm gonna pay the 6 energy. That's a
uh,
no-brainer.
so just some comments coming in. Cards that make you think or take a couple of passes to understand. That's a pretty good, reasonable reason regarding for malicious persuasion for becoming a rare. Bread and butter isn't exciting, but it goes down well. I'm guessing that's regarding Inferno Ghoul. Read through the cards when you reveal them. Yeah, I guess we can read through the cards. And then Oten is a good evasion card. It's definitely really solid. I always have the cards highlighted in large, but yeah, we can read through them a little bit more.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I think the only one I didn't. I think we did we. I don't. Well, I guess I didn't specifically read Inferno Ghoul. It's a 1 health, 2 fire attack summon for 6 aura.
Yeah.
Underworld Knowledge is a exert and 1 life to draw a card, action speed. And Oten is a swift left and right move effect at 6 energy cost.
Yeah. Overall, like, yeah, I like this list so far. I definitely have a good feeling. You got 3 cards remaining. I have a feeling one of those are gonna be, but I don't know what the other 2 are. So it's
All
gonna be
right.
interesting.
Yeah. Are you ready? What do you think it is? I'll give you one. You can predict this one card. This is the third slot. Third slot.
Third slot. The, I'm gonna say. Actually, I don't know. I don't know. It's in 5G, eh?
I think it's in 5G. I don't
Yeah.
100% remember, but I think it's 5G.
I have no
All right,
idea then.
Rochelle. Flip it. Call to the
Ah.
bone.
Yep.
5G action speed spell that costs 13 aura. It's a simple one, but an amazing one. Just summon 3 Skeletal Warriors. Skeletal Warriors are just 1/1s.
Yeah.
Army in a can.
Yep.
I love this card. It's fun.
So,
but
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say,
Go ahead.
if you are wondering why it brings you 3 skeleton warriors, but the artwork only shows 2, there's actually a third one that's hidden behind the text box. There are 3 skeletons on this artwork. It's just the third one is hidden. Yeah.
I enjoyed this card, and I know a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Definitely, when people started cracking boxes, I know from all the videos they were like, "Give me Call the Bones, give me Call
Yeah.
the Bones."
Yeah. I did not see that coming. Like, I did not expect Call to the Bones to be, like, probably the most sought after card in Rays. I knew it would be high up there, but I was expecting more like, we had high hopes. What was that one rare? It's escaped me, but I know there was one rare where we expected it to be really high up. It was initially really well praised. Oh, Necrolich. The Necrolich still stayed high, but I expected it to be like by a landslide the most sought after card in the set. But no, Call of the Bones was, and that really took me for a surprise.
Fair. But yeah, I think this card's really fun. I know the first time it was in Future League, I just slapped, I think, like a good 40 of them in a deck and went, "Hey Sid, you want to face me?"
Oh, that was so rough. I was not
You were playing
ready for that.
your long Titans deck. You had this massive Newzoo with like crazy amount of health, and it was just surrounded by 20 skeletons.
Yep, yep. And since then, I've always had to run some sort of AoE. Like, you just need one or two of them that just can clear the field temporarily. Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've talked about this. I have a sort of cycle of decks that when I am making a deck and I believe it's good enough to go to the top tier that I face, like essentially it has to go through a criteria. So one is, can it survive a deck of 50 Call to the Bone? Because can it survive swarms? Can it survive the Tsunami deck? Can it survive a pure Spellcaster deck? Etc. like that. That's just one of those ones. And then one of my other ones that's very obscure is it's literally Decoy Rabbit deck. It has a good, can't remember, like 30 Decoy Rabbits, and it's just a Mallet deck that just walks up to you and does its heavy attack and decoys every time you target it.
Yeah, that would be pretty annoying. Yeah, when I go to test decks, I always just go off the top 4 championship decks because you got a caster, 2 fighters, and a summoner in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have Swarm because Swarm didn't exist before Raze.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, Raze brought out both Calls of the Bones and Necrolich, both creating Swarm decks.
Yeah. That is fair. All right, let's move on over to my Steven, 2 and number 1.
Steven says, Alex causing PTSD in opponents since 2018.
All right, number 2. It is the Death.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a good card, but it's not oppressive / people don't see it as oppressive as the Angel.
That's true. Like, you can definitely, when there's a swarm of these, you're like, this is gonna hurt, but if I play my cards right, I can get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's sorry, we should say the text of the card. It is a 3 health summon, 12 aura to beckon. It has range attack 5 for exert. It is a swift, and it has flight and aerial.
Mm-hmm. So flight giving it the momentum, aerial making it that only ranged attacks can target it. Yeah. Great card. One
It's
of the earlier cards. Yeah.
And it's really the extra kicker on it is its aura cost. Is really the extra kicker that I don't think people pay attention to. That is a really low aura cost.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's so low that Malik is comfortably running this.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in my Malik summoner deck, it's just Death.
So the funny part about Death's Companion is it's one of the earliest cards that was released with the game that didn't exist inside the starter kit. So you bought the starter kit, and if you at SkyCon we had these like booster packs, which are like those, you know, the team bags that you can put some cards into when you buy singles out of shop or something. So I had a bunch of those, which had cards that appeared in the starter kit, and then a couple of them would have this random Death Companion in it. And the people who got the Death Companion were so excited, and they wanted more. They wanted more because it was such a powerhouse card, and there's so few ways to kill it. So like Malik had Death Eater, that was basically his only option, and Raha had the built-in archery, but like Nubia couldn't do anything to Death Companion. Bear in mind, when the game first came out, Nubia was the worst champion. So yeah, the Death Companion definitely, and I dislike it. For everyone who's watching, it's not Death's Champion, it's Death's Companion. All right, yeah.
I've never heard somebody say that Death's Champion.
Oh, so many times do people say that. So many times. It's just,
well, say it's simple. Just make another card called Death's Champion.
And make it like really, really bad. So, like, I play my Death Champion, I'm like, that's not the right card. I grab this other one. Like, this is what you're actually playing. Yep. Yeah, that's
Oh.
gotta be a thing one day. All right. And the last one, I know what this is. It has to be Meteorite.
What is it? It's
It's
Meteorite.
Meteorite. It has to be Meteorite.
It's such a fun card. unless you're playing against Will. Will hates it with a passion, and I always top deck it against Will.
Yeah. So Meteorite, 3 action-based abilities. The first one costing 10 aura to deal 2 damage onto a single spot. Second one dealing 28 aura to deal 3 that spot and everything around it. So all 9 spots. And then for 30 aura, you hit everything for 5. Yeah, and this is one of the cards where like so early on we had the artwork for it, but we just didn't release it on launch. I think it was it part of the first boost pack? So the first boost packs had Meteorite and Guardian of Balance. That was and the first printing of Meteorite, the card wasn't placed right, so it actually didn't have the bottom legal text at the bottom of the card that says like the card number and Haunted Castle Gaming, all that stuff. That was cut off. So those original printings look like that. It was bad. Anyways, yeah, Meteorite. Oh, what's your like favorite thing about this card?
Well, everything it does. It's literally, if you're facing a summon deck, it's going to clear the board.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to fairly. I like to say it's fair. Some people don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's gonna do 5 damage to both of us.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is a disadvantage to me. It cost me 30 aura to do 5 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow my opponents don't see it that way.
No. Well, you're gonna play it when you have more than 5 health.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Your opponent's not like, hey, you can't play that Meteorite yet. I have less than 5 health. So,
to be fair, no opponent has
that's true. That's true.
Next time you face me ass, maybe I won't play
it. All right. So if you had to break this card down into its 3 components, what's your percentage? Like how often you play the top tier versus the middle tier versus the bottom tier? Bottom tier being the 2 damage, top tier being the 5 damage.
So almost all the time it's big mode.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely do I play the 3 damage mode. That's in this. So you're gonna play the 3 damage mode, in the scenario where you're hitting multiple things, and specifically you don't want to lose 5 life.
Yeah.
You're gonna do the 2 damage mode when you have like no aura, and that's the only one you can play.
You just need to hit them for the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I know. I think I was first to do it, but build the Meteorite deck, which was 25 meteors.
Mm-hmm.
But I originally played it in I think the plan was in. I haven't seen people play in a while. What's the name for the 2 champion deck? Allies, yeah. So you'd run Malik and Idris, just because Malik could take the hit of the meteorites, and together they would just fire meteorites off.
Yeah, that was pretty. I remember you building that deck and then being like, Sid, I think I broke Allies. Yeah. Now, so another cool thing about Meteorite, for people who don't know, is that it's among a few of the cards that hasn't been changed in like nearly a decade of playtesting. It's always been these 3 tiers, and originally the concept I got it off of Sephiroth and the whole entire Meteorite in Final Fantasy VII, and I like this idea of like pulling down a small one, pulling down a mid-sized one, pulling down a large one. And I remember when I first designed it, there was a much larger gap between the second and third ability for cost. And I was like, well, technically the third ability, you're getting hit for 5. So you're paying 5 health plus 30 aura. So that's where the cost kind of got readjusted.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Because, and it's one of those things, like, I think I expected more people to question why is there only a 2 aura difference between the second and third tier. But most people caught on to that, so kudos to people. who play the game. You're smart. All
All
right.
right, Sid, ready for your list?
Yes, yes. Let's bring that in.
Oh boy.
All right, I'm gonna go through this a little bit faster because one, there's a few overlaps, and two, it's already 7:30, so we want to make sure we get in a game. And yeah. All right, so number 10, we got Death Eater.
Nice.
Summon that a lot of people kind of neglect in the game, but it saw a lot of play in the early days, and it's still a really solid 2-for-1. If you're just getting into the game, Death Eater is a really solid summon. So 10, 9, we got to Demon's Rage. So this one doing area damage in that little house shape, 4 damage to everyone in that awareness. It's gives you a nice control. It being dark damage, meaning that you can combo with it fairly easy. And then I just love the artwork. And then the
Fair.
flavor behind this, it was supposed to be like Raging Demon from Street Fighter. Yes, I pull a lot of reference from other games. So I love the Demon's Rage. All right, so that's 9, 8. Underworld Knowledge. We already talked about this, but this is the prettier artwork in my opinion. But great 3 chi, gives you a lot of sustainability and allows. I think the one thing, Axon may have strength and draw. Chaos has strength and fishing for cards, like digging to find the right cards. So when you're playing Axon Chaos, like you can get to the cards you need, and I like Underworld Knowledge for that. And if it was printed the way it was originally written, it would have been super broken because it didn't have the exert cost on it originally. So that's 7, 6. Flame Jet.
Flame Jet.
So Flame in its early days, in its heydays, it actually saw a lot of play. Idra's Flame, like the Burning Scorpion decks were definitely a thing. So Hunting Hounds, Flames, and Giant Scorpions, and it was just such a threatening deck with Idris. Flame Jet, I think, finally was that moment of rebalancing this card to the modern meta, and now I like this card may not see a lot of competitive play, but design wise, I love it. And the artwork is just so gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree.
Mikhail just kills it in his artwork. He's so good. All right, so that's 9, 8, 7, 6. Shadow's Grasp. I love it because it messes people up, but I love it more with my next one, Lambs to the Slaughter. There's not like pulling someone's summon in just to mess with them is great. There's nothing sweeter than pulling in their summon and then Lambs to the Slaughtering with it so that it takes the damage. It's just so nice. I love that combo. These two cards together just work so well together. All right. Yeah, I'm going through them kind of quickly, but all right, moving on. Unhinge. So 8 aura, shuffle your thoughts, your hand back into your deck, and draw that many cards. This card was super underrated at first. No one wanted to play it, and in one draft, I grabbed it and I played with it. And I was like, this card's so much better than I thought it was going to be. And then it just became like one of my favorites for such a long period of time. That artwork is just so good. It's
Yeah.
just so good, especially when you know that this is in reference to Sacred Ground. So if you ever look at the artwork from Bellum for Sacred Ground, it's that same character but dropped into this insanity plea. And then, as people know, my favorite flavor text to write is always Kendra. So I like that statement. Sanity is overrated. It's so on point. It's such a good card. Yeah, there's Sacred Ground. So you can see it, the eyeshadow around the character, the banner that's being carried, and then the sword. It's supposed to be all kind of reminiscent, but then you're losing the braid for the more like wild hair style. All right, number 3 is Meteorite. Both artworks I love. But the thing that I like about this one is, one, it's part of canon. You have Idris doing it. 2, it's It was when we did the promo for Ragnarok convention. We had this exact artwork, but it had the Ragnarok dice instead of the meteorite rocks.
I thought that was the canon one.
That was it was really fun to somehow incorporate their logo and everything into the game without going as far as we did with Sky the Storm Dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing about this is I they're not on the website anymore, but they'll come back soon, which is the Idris two-part story, because those are being reincorporated into the Akashic Codex. And there's this moment where she does meteorite in that story, and it's such a cool moment. It's so epic. So yeah, can't let go of meteorite. All right, number 2, we got the malicious persuasion.
Nice.
This is for people who haven't played. It's just one of those cards that I love so much, and I don't know, like it made the Titan deck for me. It changed the way I perceive summoners should work in this game.
That's fair.
So it was the first time I actually played Idris. I didn't play Idris before making that the monster primordial force deck. It's just I think everyone did, and I had kind of this bad feeling about Idris.
Mm.
All right, I'll go over my honorable mentions because Alex always makes fun of me of how I have so many of them. So Death's Companion made that list. It's such a solid card, but the thing is, I don't like playing with them so much. I love this artwork. I love a lot about it, but I'm not a huge fan of playing with it. There's just so many other 7Gs that I'd rather run. And I like really, like I'm one of those sadistic illusion over Death's Companion type of players. But I do see the appeal for this card. I love the artwork. I love the flavor of this card. And originally, this card wasn't supposed to have Flight and Aerial. It was supposed to have Death Touch. And then I couldn't find, and I found this artwork, and I was like, this artwork's just so gorgeous. Let's give it Flight and Aerial instead. Malevolent Spirit, purely because this is literally the first artwork in Genesis. And if you look right around the skull, you can see Leslie's signature. It's dark purple on top of light purple. So nearby the Thymos affiliation. So this card, purely just because I love the artwork, I love what she did here. And then the card itself is actually kind of unique in the regards as it's one of the few summons that doesn't do attack, especially in alpha and beta. Almost every summon did an attack ability. This summon doesn't.
I wish it was more playable. I do like this card.
Yeah.
I've never been able to make it work. It's just too slow. That action speed madness never works.
Yeah, it doesn't. Originally, it was actually supposed to have a forward awareness and make your opponent discard 2. And that got a little absurd.
That's fair.
So it got scaled back, but got scaled back a little bit too much. Malfeasance. So your opponent revealing the top card of the deck, losing X and gaining X. I just remember us designing this and Carl going through so much revision on how to make this card, and he eventually proposed this idea of like your opponent reveals the top card of the deck and they lose X health where X is the chi cost. And I was like, that's good, but it's not good enough for an 8 chi. I was like, why don't you just gain X health as well? And they're like, shouldn't that cost a lot more? I'm like, no. It'll cost the exact same. Just let you gain X health as well. And it was just that kind of crazy moment where we took a card and pushed it dramatically. And
I like Mal.
Yeah. Like even now, it's not the most playable card, but it's still such a fun card to play.
Yeah, it's held back by the same thing. It's the fact that it's an action, and a lot of decks run movement defenses.
Yeah.
So you go in there, you're like malfeasance, and that's pretty much your whole turn because it's action. If they dodge, you're like, well, I'm out of everything.
Yeah.
I can't really do any other action stuff with it.
I remember
that, and that's the only reason why.
Yeah.
That's the only flaw.
I remember running a malfeasance deck where I was running it as Kendra, and the whole entire purpose was like get their hand to as useless of a state as possible, and then just play like 3 malfeasance in a row.
That's fair.
And it worked.
It's a chance that I should look back to it because there's some nice discard in the most recent set in Raise. Yeah. There's some new discard.
I think the thing that held the deck back the most was just running out of aura. So with Aura Break, I think this would be very feasible.
You just give me PSD from trying to play Conduit.
uh, but no, like the thing is, we
If
talked
Future
about
League I
yeah. If you,
got.
we talked about this with Kendra. Is I think she's the one champion where aura break is ideal for her because one, she wants to be in the thick of things, so she is getting hit, and two, her built-in ability costs a decent amount of aura. So
Mhm.
anyways, moving on. Underworld dealings. I think I'm one of the few people who actually really enjoys playing this card. Most people would be like, it has to be a lower chi, but I really enjoy playing with it. It's
I do play it. I don't go as deep as I've seen you and other people play it.
yeah,
I usually play it, and I only play the one or two life.
yeah, that's fair. Uh, and there's just something about this piece. I love both artworks that were done, but like just the way this one fits, it speaks to me in a very dark and evil voice.
While we're here, who's behind Idris now?
That's
Who's
a
in the back?
story for another chapter.
Alrighty.
I'll let you know that there is a chapter in the Codex called Underworld Dealings.
Okay.
So, puppet control. Uh, this is another. Both ends of the story were great. This was a trial piece that an artist did, and she did it. It looked awesome, but I was like, can we change the figure that's in the middle there to look more like a doll because it looked like a person before. I was like, let's make it look like a doll to make it a bit more abstract. So I love that this came in as a trial piece and it was a passion project that our artist did. And then secondly, it was when I proposed this card, Lionel coming up and being like, "This card's so broken. Why would you print this in this game? It like it's not good." And like our game design team pushing back on me, and I was like, "Don't worry about it. Trust me. Don't worry about it." And then it published, and it's really not that broken. It's a good card. It's a fun
It's
card to play
good.
with.
I've talked about this
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
It's so hard. I
It's so
want to
hard.
love it.
Yeah.
Never know if it was good or bad for me after I've done it. I just don't know. I don't know.
My traumatizing moment was when I was playing against who was I playing? Brad. And he was playing an angel deck, I was playing a Malik deck, and I was like I felt very clever. No, it wasn't an angel deck because I had demon scrolls. So I was feeling very clever because I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna steal that angel. I played demon scrolls. I searched for puppet control. I pay the cost, and he cog restricts my puppet control. I was like, that's 12 health gone.
Oh, ow.
It hurts so bad. That
Oh,
was
jeez.
yeah. That one
Oh,
hurt. But still,
oh.
I love the card. And then my last is Fork Lightning here. Um it's one of those, the art fits the card function so beautifully. And this card I think is overlooked, especially for an uncommon, especially if you're drafting, because it's swift speed. Uh
Hmm.
a lot of people don't realize that. You would think a card like this would be action speed because of Demon's Rage, Tsunami, Landslide. But the fact that this is Swift, it actually does merit a second look.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. My number one card is Vampiricus. I
That's
just.
fair.
Vampires. I love my vampires.
I remember when I started playing, like the first time playing you, you were all about Rain and the Vampiric Kiss.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
I think I would go back to it, except for Rain for a little while got that bad connotation of just being like, oh, you're playing Rain, you're gonna be playing an OTK, and there's no other way to play Rain. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna let that thing die
Yeah.
down a little bit, and then I'll come back to playing Rain because we recently played a game where I played as Rain, and it was a multiplayer game, and I really enjoyed that experience of like just not being touchable, constantly jumping around the board or jumping in to get the kill, and then slowly just messing with the board state. And I think once traps become more of a thing in the game, traps and breaks and all these other things, Rain will come back to the version I enjoy of her, which is the slow play, very manipulative style of play. Uh, yeah. All right. I didn't.
That's fair.
Oh, wait. What? I think that's JC there. I didn't make Sid's list. Alex is my new favorite now. What? Oh, How did you not make my list? Is there none of these cards card JC made? So Fork Lightning is Carl's, Malfeasance is Carl's. A lot of these are mine. Malicious Persuasion's Lionel.
I got the whip smash. That's
Yep,
fine.
yep. I'm sorry, JC. There were a few other cards that I was kind of debating around, but I think this is where I kind of settled.
But he saw JC on them, and he was like, "Nah."
JC makes these like wonderful swing cards for me. Like there are some cards that are like really amazing in certain situations, but played outside of the situations is like I don't know how to optimize this card. And so they're great for those really stylistic type of deck designs. And my style of deck designs are like combos like Lambs to the Slaughter with Shadow's Grasp. I just want to mess with people. All right, awesome. We got some time. I went through my list a lot quicker, but there was a decent amount of overlap. I mean,
Yeah.
Demon's Rage wasn't on your list, but we had Underworld Dealings. We both had Shadow's Grasp, Meteorite, Malicious, Vampiric. Yeah, and then like Flame Jet is very basic card. All right,
Fair.
let's get into playing a game. Do you want to switch it over? Yeah, you got it.
Loading it up.
This is gonna be interesting because I don't know what champion you're gonna run. I'm hoping we pick different champions. We have so far most of our. I think all of our things we've had different champions, right?
I believe so. Was there one? Don't know. Where we got Chaos top S10.
Yeah, I have two of them. I don't know what's the difference between the two. They're like they're labeled. Oh, that's show me a timestamp. Perfect. 35, and this one says 32. So, haha.
See, we're playing different though. We're good.
I've been really digging Malik recently. I just like. I wish he just saw more play. Alright, for people who are watching as we're kind of setting up, what would be your top 10 list? Or just give us your top 3. What are your top 3 Chaos cards? I'd love to know if there's anything that we missed that you really think should have been on the list. That's super, like, I don't know, that's really interesting for me.
I'd like to know JC's top Chaos card he's.
The one he made, or just in general what his top one is?
Let's get both.
All right.
Because I don't normally pay attention too much about who made what. All right, I guess I will go first.
I guess yeah. If you're running Call to the Bones, you probably want to run Core.
What? Why? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna move up. Play Call to the Bones. I didn't bring skeletons. Luckily, there is a thing on the board somewhere. Thank you. Yeah.
I was
put one right there.
Recently trying to teach someone who was not super new to the game, but kind of new to the game, about different mechanics and stuff like that. And we just wanted to go through our first game. And I brought him over to the deck design table, and he's like, "How do I get access to this?"
You know what? I was gonna Mobius, but I should play this now. I think I'm gonna Underworld Knowledge.
All right, you got it.
It doesn't work too well in this scenario. I could have ate a skeleton instead, but that's okay.
Yeah, could have saved yourself that 1 health, but then you'd be down a skeleton. I don't know how relevant that is, but it's a thing. I'm gonna Death Eater one of those skeletons away.
Shadow's Grasp.
Interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't really work. Nah, I'll hold it. Shh.
Well,
I was like, I asked you what Jason. For some reason, I was thinking around. I was gonna put it here.
If you put it behind you, because I'm targeting one of these skeletons, so if you put it behind you, it would.
Is it? Oh, it is a target.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll challenge Grasp. I'll throw it all the way.
Oh,
Or attempt to. Oh, you got
sure.
the
I got
malicious?
the malicious.
Oh, all
Let's
right, all
do
right, all
this.
right. All
All
right.
right, let's go there.
All right, which skeleton would you like to kill?
Yep, let's knock that one
Not
out.
that guy. I was gonna eat him.
Nummy nummies. And then I'm gonna underworld knowledge.
Ooh,
So in early
bold
days of
play.
testing, when we didn't want to write underworld knowledge on the full cards, it was just UK. So it became UK. All right, and that's around.
All right, next round.
JC says puppet control with Malik. And the famous, my favorite, I have made in chaos, Tremors. Tremors?
Tremors. There's the secret JC card that we don't know about. What's? Oh,
All right, you got.
I
Lead?
lost you for.
Oh,
Huh?
Yeah? You have lead.
I've lost you from the table. It says that you have left the table.
Interesting. Ah, there we go. Now it disconnected me. Alright, let's rejoin that. Do. Technical difficulties. There it is. Oh, he's talking about the worm. Olgi. Ogoy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a very solid card. That was going to be part of my honorable mentions. But I just kept on having Alex's voice in the back of my head laughing at me for picking too many honorable mentions.
He's gonna attack here. He's gonna walk up, attempt to attack this Death Eater right here.
I don't remember having this in my hand. This. Yeah, this definitely wasn't in my hand. There's a random Demon's Rage in my hand. So I got...
Well, I won't complain to you losing a Demon's Rage.
2, 3, plus 4. So 7. Yeah, that's right. You're gonna go in there and attack me for 1. That's an interesting call. We'll have Malik defend the Death Eater.
All right.
And then this Death Eater will charge against that dude.
He'll attack back for 1.
Yep, you got it.
Want to call to the bones.
So JC says I would pick all the Chaos cards for my honorable mentions. That's not necessarily true. So I'm not a big fan of a lot of vanilla creatures. I actually do not like the 3-chi 2/1s. Not because they're not good, but because they really hamper design space. Because now it's really hard for us to make 1/1s and justify playability. Because everyone's just going to default to the 2/1s because they just cost 2 or more. So from a design perspective, I don't like the 2/1s, so I'd never promote them. And then the pillars, I think they're great cards, but they are what they are. What other cards? There are definitely a few cards out there that I'm just not a huge fan of. A lot of cards that I made in alpha and beta, I'm just not super strong on them. All right.
Going to conflicted on what I want to do. We're just going to attack this for 2. It's only 2.
Where the Demon Rage probably came from playing the Underworld Dealings. Yeah. Ah,
You want to go grab a? You want to go grab it?
I'll just grab the top card off my deck if you don't mind.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right, cool. So he's at 1.
Yeah, next round.
All right, let me grab that exert token. I actually really like these Jaylara exert tokens. I like the black side of them though.
1, 2.
Pikachu.
Attack Malik for 1.
Um. Yeah, looks like we're taking 1.
For everybody watching. The reason why I'm doing this because it sounds like, hey, easy, just smack it. Well, then he's never gonna get a turn.
So at the end of his turn, Death Eater's gonna swing at you for 3.
Is it worth 3? Draw a card. I'll take the 3. And then I'm gonna. Oh, you're doing it end of this turn.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
Let's come in here and swing at this skeleton for the 2.
The skeleton will attack back for 1.
Yeah.
I am going to. Attack for 2.
It's a fun move, but not a good move. I think that's a funner move. I'm gonna go on the record of saying I have a funner move out there. I'll take the 2.
All right. I'm going to Mobius, the Death Eater.
I'm gonna malicious persuasion it.
All right, go for it.
Not a good move, just a funner move. Yeah, let's go there.
And then the skeleton's gonna come and take it out.
Yeah, this is where I really wish I had a swift, like a left hook.
Alrighty, next round.
Yeah.
Alright, let us start by saving this Inferno Boy. Certain. Attacking you for 2.
You just have so many summons. How many cards in your hand?
5.
5. Okay, so you have a few, but not an insane amount. Yeah, I'm gonna play Lambs to the Slaughter, targeting the Skeleton Warrior. It's just funny because we just have all these small creatures. 3, 4, 5. Response? No. So that.
No, you got it.
Dude is dying. I'm going to. I'm at 22. Let's drop a Death Eater here to kill off that dude.
Skeleton. How rude.
And I'll attack you for the 2.
19.
No Oten?
No. I'm gonna start with a Vamp Kiss.
Ooh. Yeah, you got it. Darren's top 4: Demon Rage, Pyro and Wad, Fork Lightning, and Death's Companion.
Another Vamp Kiss.
Yeah, you got it. Down to 13.
Ah. What? Why is this phasing through? There goes all my 7 cheese.
Lock that down.
Yeah. Go guns a blazing. Another Vamp Kiss.
All right, down to 10. More Death's Companions.
And I'll smack you for 2.
Yeah, you got it. Down to 8.
All right.
Next round.
I'm gonna start with the Inferno Ghoul coming in to smack you for 2.
Not ideal. Let's knock it out with that Death Eater. Meteorite.
Yeah. Meteorite for 5 damage.
Ooh, that hurts. Yeah, you got it.
Oh, why does Mobius not say kill target summoner champion? I'll dark attack you for 2.
Yeah, and that's game. Yeah,
Good
I was
game.
worried. Did you have Oten in hand?
No, I had 2 Shadows Grasp.
Yeah. See, I was worried about the Oten. I had. I mean, wouldn't make a huge difference, but I did have a Vampire Kiss the last round. That I was debating on playing, and the fear of the Oten, I'm like, okay, I'll set that up for later, but it just didn't pay off.
That's fair. That's fair. And so I just want to point out for people watching why the Skeleton Warriors, despite being so measly, are so powerful. I like blocked you out of most of that for the first couple of games, for the first couple turns, you getting anywhere near me.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I should have just like busted through them. I was so the big issue was how good of a spread your deck had. So you had Oten, which I knew about, so I was constantly holding back particular moves, being like, oh, I don't know if he has the invasion. I don't want to waste these cards, like the Vampire Kiss or the Flame Jets. Then the other side of it was I had to hold back something in case you dropped the Death's Companion.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was holding on to like Death Eaters and stuff like that, being like, oh, if he drops the Death Companion, what is my answer going to be? So I was constantly having to hold back answers to deal with things that I couldn't just push through. Which
Yeah, that's very fair.
definitely held me back, as we saw. And this is, I think, in general, one of the biggest issues with Malik is that you have to put in so many cards to deal with all these different edge cases that you don't end up getting to play those cards. I don't know why it's that case with Malik, but not with other fighters. Like, I don't feel that same issue with Fong, but that's probably because Fong has something like Bolt Shot, which is just so comfortable to deal with so many different aggressive threats.
Yeah, that's true.
Where Malik doesn't have something of the same caliber. I guess if I was running, well, even Fork Lightning, I didn't spend any aura that game, but Fork Lightnings could help with. The nice part about Fork Lightnings is if we're in this position and you play a Call to the Bones, then at the end of your turn, I can just decimate all the skeletons.
Oh, poor skeleton.
Poor skeletons. Yeah, well, that was good. Good showcase of the spread of different cards. Yeah. I just fell so badly that game. That's okay. It happens.
It's all good.
Yeah. You win some, you lose some. All right, let's flip this over. Well, thanks for joining. For everyone who's watching, thank you so much for joining us today. I think we had a decent amount of people come out to watch this week compared to other weeks. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you for supporting us every single week. Next
Thank
week,
you, guys.
Yeah. Do we have a topic for next week?
I don't know. I think we'll talk. I think we have some topics, but we haven't picked one. If there's a topic you guys want to hear us talk about, don't hesitate to let us know.
Yeah. And the other thing is, if you are interested in participating on the tournament this Saturday, we don't have a lot of people registered yet, so I would like to see more people registered. We need, I mean, we'll fire it off no matter what, but is it like an actual tournament, or is it just going to be like a round robin, or will we just do some crazy free-for-all thing? It's not like I haven't done that before, where we only had like 5 people in a draft. So we drafted, and then we all just jumped into one board and fought, and to see who had the best deck. So we'll do something. It'll be fun. But we got the tournament this Saturday, and then Friday we're going to be doing Future League testing. We'll stream Future League testing this Friday, and then any other night if you're free around 7 o'clock, just reach out to me or Alex or someone, and we'll try to play a few games. So I think that's everything for this week. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
All right.